The coronavirus pandemic highlighted many pre-existing disparities within communities of color, but one seems to rise above the rest: housing inequity. Cronkite News reporter Kelly Donohue explains what this issue looks like in Arizona and how the president is looking to solve it.
Did you know that homeownership rates for Black, Latino, and Native Arizonans are much lower than those of white residents? This phenomenon is an outcome of something called housing inequity, and it isn't just an issue in Arizona. In fact, it's on President Joe Biden's list of national problems to fix during his presidency.
A survey done by Washington University's Social Policy Institute found that Black and Hispanic homeowners have been hit harder than their white counterparts since the pandemic began, due to ongoing evictions, foreclosures, and other rent and mortgage struggles. Narrowing the housing gap is one of the Biden administration's biggest goals, related to his call for nationwide equality.
Housing is a right in America, and homeownership is an essential tool to wealth creation and to be passed down to generations.
Biden's recent executive order includes a mandate for the Department of Housing and Urban Development to promote equitable housing policies that will create opportunities for communities of color. But what does housing inequity actually mean, and what does it look like here in Arizona? For starters, housing inequity describes any disparities there may be related to homeownership rates, affordable rental housing, homelessness, and other related hardships. For Arizonans, it's a prevalent setback for Black, Latino, and Indigenous communities, especially those living in rural neighborhoods. This is because they tend to rely more heavily on their homes to generate income and maintain their wealth. These populations need property ownership and affordable rental housing to allow them financial stability and spending power. However, homeownership rates for Black, Latino, and Indigenous Arizonans are much lower than those of white residents. According to a Prosperity Now report, 71.5% of white Arizonans are homeowners, while this percentage is 35.2% among Black residents, 53.8% among Latinos, and 55.7% among Indigenous people. Housing instability in Black, Latino, and Indigenous communities is also being exacerbated by federal laws that force them to relocate and prevent them from accumulating wealth through homeownership. Centuries of displacement and land redistribution policies have promoted segregation by forcing people of color to urbanize and only serving white applicants. However, balancing the housing market may not be a matter of creating new policies, but rather doing away with the outdated ones. The Biden administration says that it plans to get rid of, quote, racially discriminatory federal housing policies that have contributed to wealth inequality for generations.
Biden also wants to limit housing discrimination, which can occur when a landlord refuses to rent or sell, or charges more to buy or rent a property to someone based on their race or ethnicity. Housing discrimination also occurs when a property owner says that a property is no longer for sale when it actually is. In the broadcast center, Kelly Donohue, Cronkite News.